2 months into Amanda Jester's stay at Community Recovery, an LA Weekly cover story hits newsstands. It's an explosive report about owner Chris Bathum, and it lands like a bomb.
The things that are alleged are all inaccurate. It's embarrassing as hell.
Written by reporter Hillel Aaron, it dubs Bathum a rehab mogul and raises troubling questions about his business practices, his background, and his behavior, including details of a lawsuit from a former female client at an earlier rehab center who accused him of fraud and sexual battery. In the complaint, which was later settled without admitting wrongdoing, there are accusations that Bathum made offensive, unwelcome, and humiliating sexual advances towards her. From your reporting, should Chris Bathum be running a rehab?
Absolutely not.
Bathum denied any wrongdoing to the LA Weekly. His response to their article, a two-bird salute, topped off with a libel suit. But the Rehab Mogul moniker, that he embraced, selling t-shirts, even mugs at the coffee shop owned by Community Recovery.
$15 each.
Actually, the t-shirts are gone. We have to print more.
Amanda's mother, Thayer, says she attended a meeting for family members of clients in which Bathum brazenly dismissed the accusations.
He just made light of it. He just said, they're coming after me because I'm successful, I'm unconventional, and I wanted to believe it. I drank the Kool-Aid. I couldn't imagine that someone would take advantage of these people who were coming to seek help.
Amanda Jester says when she first arrived at Community Recovery, she had very little contact with Bathum. But then, Amanda says she got his attention when she broke one of the cardinal rules of rehab: no carnal relations between clients.
I got exited for a relationship with a boy from the house.
Exited, meaning kicked out. But then, after 2 days, she says, Bathum allowed her to return.
I was really focused on improving because obviously I messed up.
Thayer says she's also hoping that this time it will work out. She's supposed to leave town for a trip, and she wants to make sure her only child will be cared for during her absence.
I went up to Chris and said, I'm gonna really miss my girl, and he assured me she was in really good hands.
Amanda says what happened next is so egregious, she filed a lawsuit against Bathum.
This is the sweat lodge.
She says he invited her into that makeshift sweat lodge covered in cast-off blankets.
What do you heat it with? The rocks are cooked on a fire, and then they come in glowing hot, and then water's poured out of them almost like a sauna.
She says it's a regular guided meditation session, and that there's a group of around 8 people inside with Bathum leading the session.
I was there. It's very small.
It's very small, it's tight, it's pitch black dark, you can't see anything.
So it's intended to be a very spiritual experience.
Yes.
But according to her story, the spirit that was conjured up inside was an evil one.
He started to rub my leg up and down. I kind of went into panic mode and I didn't know what to do, so I froze.
In her lawsuit, Amanda alleges Bathum slipped his fingers into her vagina. And throughout, Amanda says because she was so afraid, she doesn't make a sound.
Why don't you push him off?
I did at first. It was kind of like inching away and uncomfortable. I didn't know really what to do. I felt stuck, I guess. I mean, he's the owner.
She says she tells no one, and that 3 days later, a staff member tells her that a van is going to take her to meet Chris Bathum to do some shopping. She says she's dropped off at a local Costco where Bathum meets her and leads her to his waiting Tesla.
He said, let's go, and told me that he got a hotel room at the Four Seasons. I just felt like I had to. I had no other choice.
Amanda says they go inside the hotel room.
We sit down on the bed and I asked him, are you high? And he said yes. And then I asked him, are you on meth? And he said yes. I said, listen, I have no intention of doing drugs. I'm happy being sober. I want to be sober.
But according to her complaint, he has other plans. It says Bathum demanded that she take off her clothes, stuck his fingers in her vagina, and insisted on performing oral sex on her before allowing her to leave the hotel room.
I was disgusted. He smelled bad, he was gross, and I honestly wanted to push him off of my body. But I was stuck in this hotel room with this man who had control over my living situation. I have no credit card, no money, no cell phone. I felt like I had no choice.
Amanda says when she returns to the house, she doesn't feel right.
My head started being tingly, my eyes were dilated.
She says she realizes she's high, and now she says she knows what happened.
I did not do methamphetamine. He had it on his fingers and injected it through molesting me. Apparently, you can get high that way.
Amanda says she's in shock and despair, and this time she says she goes directly to 2 staff members to tell them what happened.
I was told to not tell anyone.
But then Amanda decides to tell her mother what she says happened to her in the sweat lodge and the hotel.
What went through your mind?
I was appalled and instantly furious. But what broke my heart the most was she said, "But Mom, I'm so close. I really want to finish my recovery. But I just don't know if I can anymore because I don't feel safe there now."
We asked Bathum about Amanda's accusations. He says they are completely untrue and bizarre. As for her accusations that he was high on meth...
So the question to you is, do you use drugs?
No, I don't. I mean, when you say drugs, you have to define it because it's so hard. You know, coffee's a drug for sure.
Do you use
I
meth?
smoke cigars at times. I do not use meth.
Have you ever used meth?
I have experimented with every drug probably known that's out there because I think it's important to do that a long time ago and to know long-term effect for sure. And I used drugs in my youth at certain times. I'm not going to get into a big thing more than that.
Next, Amanda's not alone. Other accusers come forward with disturbing accusations.
He came up to me and was like, "I would like to do some one-on-one work with you."
They say Bathum derailed their sobriety, exploited their secrets,
Some of the stuff that I shared with him, I hadn't shared with anyone my entire life.
and lured them in at their most vulnerable.
The guy who's supposed to make the place safe is saying, "I'll get you drugs."